lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio.
And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Defeated, and you're down for the count. You feel like life has thrown you blows, and God ain't been around. But I've come to encourage you, so hold your head high. Know that God is in your corner now. Inner lies, you are a winner. You just can't lose. Who burn a KO more than a conqueror? Jesus in you. You are a winner. You are born to win. Burn a KO, more than a conqueror, power within. You are a winner. Somebody's saying to me now, you just don't understand. No, I understand you very well, 'cause that's where I've been. So I come to encourage you, pull you up by your hand. Know that God is in your corner now. Just accept this His plan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Rhonda on Elation Radio. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is well and blessed. Well and blessed. We actually have a guest today. So I have Mrs. Kern Cherry on today. Are you on, Mrs. Cherry? She's not on yet. So while we wait for her to come in, you here?
I'm here. Yeah.
Hi. It's so pleasure to meet you. How are you today?
I am doing fine.
So, Mrs. Kern Cherry, am I saying your name correctly?
That is correct.
Okay, Mrs. Kern Cherry is a speaker, a coach, an entrepreneur, author, and collaborator. Some of her topics are how to put butts in the seats, how to raise funds for your event or conference, turning connections into major collaborations, how to get the most out of your conference booth, and many more. She is the owner of PRN Home Care, which is 23 years old. She vested over 30 years in the healthcare field and holds a degree in occupational therapy. She is co-founder and director of Success Women's Conference, which produced over 1,100 attendees. That's awesome. She also has recently created a smaller conference called Power Up Summit. Mrs. Cherry is the visionary author of her new book anthology, Trailblazers Who Lead. She previously co-authored 2 anthologies, Women Inspiring Nations Volume 2, Success Must Be Taken, and Unboxed. Mrs. Cherry will be starting her new podcast, K Connections, this year. She is host, executive producer of Unwrinkled Heart Caregiver's Journey. Mrs. Cherry is a community activist who engages in developing community activities such as Blessed Girls Rock and the creator of RIPE Conference, which is Resources, Information, and Planning for the Elderly. She sits on numerous boards, including Girl Scout State Board, Rebecca's House, Mental Health Association, Lighthouse Business and Professional Women, and other organizations. She encourages women to network to increase the net worth while building relationships that could lead to major collaboration. She often says, when one door is closed, go to the next one, and if that is closed, go around the back, and if that one is closed, create your own, but never give up. That is awesome, Mrs. Cherry. That is outstanding. I was looking over your bio. You have lived. Just let me say that. Ladies and gentlemen, she has been featured twice in the Essence magazine, once as the Comeback Queen. She received numerous awards and recognition. She recently was recognized as one of the top 50 leading business women in Mississippi and the Governor's Give Award for Outstanding Achievement and Empowerment Initiatives. Mrs. Cherry and her husband and business partner, Dennis, are proud parents of 3 successful children. Their son, Danon Cherry, who is the owner of Handy Dandy Moving Services, Dr. Jasmine Padgett, M.D., Dr. Denise Cherry, D.M.D., and their grandson, Danon Jr. That is awesome, Mrs. Cherry. That is very awesome. So tell us your story in your own way. Who is Karen Cherry?
Well, I've probably been an entrepreneur longer than I've ever worked for anybody, that's for sure. And you're right. I've done some living over my time frame. I've actually had several businesses over the years that I've been working. One of the reasons why I was featured in SM Magazine is because at the time, back in, I guess, early 2000, somewhere around there, we already had 3 businesses prior to the PR and home care. So we've always done some type of form of entrepreneurship. But anyway, I've been in healthcare for over 30 years. It's where I live, really, most of the time is helping caregivers to find the resources that they need, helping and educating them on the resources that are out there, and letting them know that they're not alone. So I've had my own TV show, Wrinkle Heart Caregiver's Journey, thanks to my friend Elaine Stevens, who helped me with that show, create that show, and that was another resource for the caregivers. So that being said, with my background in occupational therapy, that kind of lends to me being able to help people in the field, because I've always been in the healthcare field. Since I left high school, I've been in the healthcare field in some way, shape, or form. As I said, I am a mother of three. I had my first son. I actually my only son, I walked across the stage at graduation from high school, and I was 7 months pregnant at the time. And went on to college. My son was 3 weeks old when I went to college, and finished up eventually. I was doing some pre-nursing, and then after that, didn't finish in nursing. I wound up finishing occupational therapy. Then I had my two daughters, Jasmine and Denise, who we have traveled around the country. They actually were born in Wiesbaden, Germany. And we traveled around the country playing tennis. They played tennis on the national circuit, and then they actually went on to finish college. And they actually graduated on the same day. One is actually a medical doctor with pediatrics and internal medicine, and the other one is a dentist. She's at Howard University.
They went to the same school.
They sure did. My youngest one actually kind of loves to follow her sister at the end of the day. And so even when she could have went to some bigger schools, she chose to hang around her sister. But she thought being a dentist would be easier. And actually, she's actually doing a little more schooling than her sister is. So that being said, yeah, they actually graduated at University Medical Center in Jackson in May last year. So they both have done all three of mine. My son, like I said, is an entrepreneur, has his own moving company, and he's done well for himself as well. So, as a mom, of course, I'm a proud mom, but what I do love doing is creating events, creating conferences. And I realize now, after doing this for over 15-plus years, that a lot of people need a little help. They need a lot of help with these conferences, because I don't believe you should have put events together and next thing you know, you show up and you got 10 or 20 people in the room. There's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it and be successful. And so that's one of the things Success Women's Conference, me and my partner, Dorothy Wilson, created that. We created that back. It's our 6th year now that we're doing the conference. And we started the first year. It was over 525-plus people the very first year we did it. Last year and the year before, we were over 1,000 people at our conference in little old Biloxi, Mississippi. And we're about right around an hour from New Orleans, Louisiana. But last year we had over 25 states represented here at Success Women's Conference. We've had Lisa Nichols, we've had Robin Roberts, Dr. Yana Van Zant, Gloria Mayfield Banks, Cheryl Wood, Deborah Garner, so many keynotes that are coming and pouring into our women and really making an impact. And our whole goal with that conference is to inspire and empower, not just talk it, but walk it. And we literally have seen people transform at our conference, start their own business, expand their business, and all that. So this year, of course, we're always looking to do better. So we got some great announcements coming. I don't even think my partners know what I got to share that's coming up soon. But we do have some great things in the plan for this year, 2020. And it's all about belief. That's our conference this year. It's all about believe. So look for the announcements to start rolling out.
Well, that is awesome. You all pull out the big guns for your conferences. That is awesome. I recognize most of those names, actually. That's phenomenal to be able to have them speak to them and your audience. So with you being in business with your husband, have you had challenges with that, or has that worked well for the two of you?
Oh, my goodness. So for entrepreneurs on the call, and if you're thinking about going into business, first off, for me, it's the only way to live because I love being able to make decisions. I don't have to go to somebody to ask them what they think or if they don't mind trying it or something like that. I learned a long time ago, if you want to get your ideas across, create your own. And so that being said, yes, we've had many challenges in our business, and some are highs and lows. I mean, one of the years that will probably always stick out, well, probably two. One is Hurricane Katrina. Can't share a story without talking about Hurricane Katrina and watching half of my clients washed away with the waters, and we were able to get all our clients safely out of the area, but many of them lost everything they ever owned. I mean, the storm here, and Biloxi's had a lot of big hurricanes, Camille, and then of course we had Hurricane Katrina. And so with this one, having clients and stuff, it affected us a lot deeper because we look at clients as family. They're like family to us, their children, and everybody. So we're connected, and our caregivers who are serving them. Many of these caregivers take care of their clients for 5+ years. So they truly are part of the family. So watching
right.
that, losing half of them, that was rough. But I can honestly say, you would have thought that would have been my worst year. But it wasn't. So one of the worst years came after the BP oil spill. It was, we went from the best year. I told my husband, this is the best year on record that we've ever had in business. It literally started. The first 6 months were probably the best years we ever had. And then we got to August. And I watched everything that I could think of in my business to happen. I mean, we lost major clients after major clients 1 week after another. And when you're in business, major clients really do hit that bottom line to the point that you're like, how are we still here? We lost that. We lost the rental. We lost all kind of stuff. And you would have thought, well, how did the oil spill affect people? Well, when you're losing clients, and then people are afraid to spend their money because they don't know what's going to happen. The oil spill hit us to the point where it was psychological for people here on the coast, as well as damaging for their business, because people just stopped. They're like, I'm not spending anything. I just, I know I need the help, but I can't take the risk. So yeah, but you know what? There is God, and with Him, all things are possible. And I can honestly say,
yes,
I look at that year and I'm like, well, the only way we got through that was through Him, because I can't even see it on the paper. The paper says you should have been out of business, but God said no, you're gonna be a testimony. So yeah, I can honestly say it was a blessing in disguise from us, because we learned from it. It made us tougher. And because we were determined, we kept going. And those stories like that is kind of like when you hear me say, trade another door, trade another way. When things aren't going well, sometimes you do have to create other options. You have to create other ways to create streams of revenues, which is something I'm teaching at my Power Up Summit in New Orleans, May the 29th through the 31st.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. Now, listen, So I am listening to Actually Becoming, Michelle Obama's book, and one of the things that she talks about is the balance act between trying to be a working mom and a good mom. So obviously you have 3 successful children, which is a blessing in itself. But with you and your husband constantly juggling multiple businesses, how did parenthood affect your business, or how did, you know what I'm saying, how did that work for you?
So I know a lot of people think you can't do it, but you can. And I can honestly say that. And I'm going to use my daughters as the example. My son actually finished at a regular Biloxi High here in Biloxi. And our daughters, who were actually, we would train with them to like 10:30 at night, every day. They would train all the time. And they would come home and get their work done, and they were basically on honor roll the whole process through. But through that process, there were some things that happened, and I just said it was God intervening, that kind of frustrated me about them being able to finish on an academic level and be where they needed to be academically. I came from an academic background, so my thing was go to school, get a scholarship, and that's how you go to college. Well, working with them, I got a little frustrated as a mom, and I said, I'm going to teach these people lessons. My kids are going to be homeschooled. So I called one of my friends, and they were homeschooled. But from that, we were on the road 3 to 4 weeks in a month. That means we were either on the road every week of the month, or we were on the road 3 out of 4 weeks of the month. And so, and even when they were training at home going to regular school, my kids, when I picked them up, I would go out to instead of let my kids go and train with somebody and teach them tennis, I would go there and I have my cell phone. I would get my work done while I'm watching them train with the coach. So we built the, we created a situation where we were together. We had fun together. They practiced, and we did that together. And then, look, as far as I'm concerned, as a business owner, when your kids are off, put them to work so that they learn business early, so they know whether they want to be in business or not. We got to, everybody isn't meant to go straight into college and get a degree. And so if you show them, introduce them early, they'll learn. The other thing is my kids learn to volunteer. They learn to, when I had a health fair or I put on that right conference, if you look at the pictures a lot, my kids are there in the pictures because guess what? They're working. They're not just there. They're actually working a booth, or they're taking, welcoming people in, things like that, and it helps them to be better adults. And my youngest is 29. She just turned 29.
Okay.
So that being said, you as a parent, they say, well, you can't have it all. Well, you may not have it all, but you can sure try to get it all. And with God's blessing, if you put him first, that's the one thing I noticed. When we were on the road, I used to think my phone doesn't even ring with problems. I'm in a business of caregiving. The phone would not ring with problems until we got home or on the way home. He will do it for you. That's all I can tell you. I've always said I knew he was involved in my business because, number one, he made sure that we were always able to take care of our clients and our caregivers. Secondly, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't believe in tithing, you might want to start believing because it works and he will take care of you. If you take care of God as God tells you to, he will take care of your business. And that's what he's done for us. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, in reading your bio and your information, I've read that you actually had a health scare. You want to talk about that? Because even as busy as we are as trying to wear the different hats of wife and mom and CEO and what author and all those great things, we still have to take care of ourselves. So what happened to you?
So I've actually had two major health scares. The first major health scare, and that's beyond my children because all my kids are C-section, which is a whole nother story by itself. But in 2009, I was found with several blood clots in my lungs. And my husband always reminds me, he said, Karen, you needed to slow down. You just wouldn't slow down on your own. And I tell you, at the time, I was vice president at one chamber. I think at the time I was head president of Lighthouse BPW. That tells you I've been there a long time. I was chairing other events. Of course, I still had my own business, and I think either right after that or I could help create a senior event, which had like 800 people the first year. I mean, I had a lot that I was doing. So I remember this, and I'm a night person, by the way. So I was literally going to bed at 3:30 or 4:30 and getting up and trying to make it to 8 o'clock meetings or 8:30 meetings. And so one day I was walking home, and I was part of the Heart Association, by the way, too. And so I was on that board and on that committee. And because of some of the things that I had attended with the Heart Association, I came to my computer, I went to the website, and I had walked up some stairs. And then when I got there, I said, well, let me check and see if I felt like I was having signs of maybe either a heart attack or something. So I looked up and I realized, okay, something's definitely wrong because I have like three out of 7 or so of these signs, probably more. So as a woman, this is what women do. We sit down and we try to figure out how to get everything done before we tell our spouse. So my husband was like, he was like, is there something wrong? I said, oh, no. And I was working. I decided to get all my invoices done, everything done, because I knew if I went in the hospital, all this stuff would be now on him. And I'm like, that's not his gift. His gift is staffing people. My gift is making sure that the marketing is done and that the invoices and all that are taken care of. So literally, I came to him later that night and I said, I need to go to the hospital. They kept me for 5 days, didn't see the clock to the 5th day, so I wound up staying 9 days. And then after about 6 months after they released me, I finally told the doctor, I said, I cannot live like this. I could not breathe. I was literally having breathing problems. And so the nurse, thank God for nurses. The nurse told me, ask the doctor for a transfer to the University of Alabama in Birmingham. And that is where my cardiologists are, my pulmonary doctors. And they diagnosed me when I walked in. They're like, you got pulmonary hypertension. And I looked it up online. Had I waited 2 years, I would not be talking to you today. And so that was the first thing. And then the doctor told me about a year later they were going to try to go in and do an open heart surgery to relieve this pressure, because what it is a buildup of pressure in your lungs. And over time, you'll need either new lungs or heart or something. And so they were going to try to do that surgery, but we're as advanced as UAB is, and they're top 10 in the nation. When the California people finally reported back, they were like, yeah, her lungs may not make it. So we opted not to do the surgery. So that was, all that process was scary. And then in 2018, and I remember like it was yesterday, it was 2018, it was like January the 2nd or 3rd. And I had been bleeding. It was a Sunday. I had been bleeding all day. I have nosebleeds because of I was taking Coumadin at the time, which is really rat poison. And I was just bleeding out. And I wasn't going to the ER because the last time I went there, the doctor laughed at me and said, hey, this is a nosebleed. I mean, he didn't even touch me. He showed my son how to pinch my nose, and eventually it stopped. Well, like I didn't know to do that. I've always had some type of nosebleed throughout my life. But anyway, for whatever reason, it did stop while I was there. That being said, I bled out. I went to church. It didn't stop. I came home. It didn't stop. Through the night, and about 1 o'clock at night, my husband came. He was like, hey, you want me to get you something cold? Anyway, tell him the process. I actually fell out, passed out. My daughter, who just so happened to be home at the time, called 911. They got me in. I had lost 1.5 liters of blood. They had to literally pump blood into me. Unfortunately, through that process, they gave me blood, but it wasn't the right blood. It was O negative, and I'm O negative RH because my daughters were, positive and I was negative. So that little factor made me bleed out again a week later. I was back in the hospital, and here's God. There's God at work. I went in on a Thursday. On Tuesday, I still did not have the new pints of blood because they had to give me more blood. And my husband kept saying, I'm going to scoop you up and take you to UAB. I'm going to scoop you up and take you to UAB. Well, the doctor that came in finally, which was a specialist, Dr. Wall, love her to death, she said, well, you may not know. She said, I got this gray hair, but I don't have it for nothing. And she's not that old, by the way. Anyway, but she said, but I went to school at UAB. Ding, ding. I said, God sent her in here. And she told me, she said, I'm going to run some tests. We're going to do this and that. We're going to put you on some steroids, and we're going to get this to stop. And literally, and look, not only that, but I'm saying this for people that don't believe or don't realize the power of corporate prayer. My husband, I called him because I was watching my blood pressure literally drop every time a person came and took it in the room. And I called my husband. I said, dude, my blood pressure is so low. I said, I need you to call and tell the pastor and them to pray. And that pastor sent out an email. He said, pray. He sent out a text. He said, pray right now. And I sent it out to them, several other women groups, WOW, Women of Wisdom, Unified Prayer Group, and those people prayed, and my blood pressure came up within an hour. I am telling y'all, as a witness, all right, I saw this myself. Literally, the guy came in within an hour. He said, I don't know what's wrong with you. He read my blood pressure was like 118 over 70-something. I was like, wow, look at God. Just working.
Come on, Dick.
So that being said, what I learned from that is that I need to increase my power of prayer. I need to increase my prayer. Number 2, I, as a working woman, must balance out and take time for myself. I need to. The other thing is, women, if you're in your 40s, I'm telling you, I always tell people, if my mama would have told me this when I was in my 40s, before I got to 40, I could have prepared better. Your body starts to turn and starts to have breakdown in its 40s. Get ready, because you're not going to know what it is, but something's probably going to happen. So start taking care of yourself. Go to the doctor office. I'm not saying be a pessimistic about it, but, we need to take better care of ourselves. Don't work yourself like I was doing 3:30, 4:30, going to sleep at night and getting up at 8:30 for a meeting? Really? No, don't do that, because I don't know what it did to my body, but there are consequences for that. I have a lifelong disease, and I'm telling you, up until a few years ago, I still see people on Facebook that are dying in their 30s and 40s and 50s from the disease I had. Literally, their lungs and heart are just giving up. So it's not worth it. So balance yourself out. Spend time with your family. Call your friends and check up on them, and go to church. I always say that. Fellowship with your people and make sure that you pray. I'm telling you that it gives you balance in your life and stuff. And for people like me, I like to travel. So I've decided every year I'm going somewhere just hanging out. I'm going with my kids a lot now. At least once a year we're going places. So make time. Balance your life. It's worth it.
It is worth it. It is worth it. So I see that your Power Up Summit is going to be May 29th through the 31st in New Orleans at the Jung Hotel, Jung Hotel. So are the tickets available for that yet?
Yeah, the website will actually be up this week. Tickets will roll out starting at $99. That's for the weekend. So you can come in, fly into New Orleans. If you haven't been to New Orleans, I'm telling you, it's definitely worth the trip just to come to New Orleans. And let me just say this. I chose New Orleans because it's an environment of connecting. People can connect. My goal is to have the conference. We'll be downloading information to you all day long. And then at the end of the day, we'll be able to go out and hang out together and actually go to something in downtown New Orleans and hang out and fellowship and connect. So that's that's really the reason why I chose New Orleans for the conference. So what the goal of the conference is to bring people together to provide optimal wisdom, encouragement, and resources. Because I realize that speakers and coaches and many people don't know how to put butts in the seat. They don't know how to get sponsors. They don't think about creating multiple stream of revenues. They don't know how to pitch themselves. Like we have Precious Williams coming in to teach pitch. She's pitching. She's a pitch master.
Hey, I love her.
Yes. I figured you would know her. Pam Perry. I don't know if you know her, but Pam wants to talk to people about how to get booked as a corporate speaker. And the reason why is because people are speaking on all these stages, but corporations pay well to speak.
They pay well, yes.
They really do. And then Shay, one of my other friends, Shay Brown, will be coming in. He's a sales and marketing specialist. Yes.
He's awesome.
And then, yes, he is. And my good friend Ashley Little, who's not just a publicist, but she's great on talking about networking, which is my big thing too. But she's great about talking about that because she knows how to collaborate, and that's what I want people to start doing. Making money, you can make a lot more money if you learn to collaborate with other people. You can't learn everything, so collaborate with other people who know what you need to know. And that way you don't need to know it. You partner with them, and you already got it. So, and that's how we formed Women's Club. Yes. That's why success runs so well, because it's a collaboration of the three directors doing what we do best and bringing it together to create and build a wonderful conference. And Success Women's Conference will actually be the 11th through the 13th. And I'm going to tell you now, if you're not paying attention, that publicity will get a little bigger towards the end of February, and you're going to start to see some big announcements come out from it, because we got to start putting out keynotes and stuff. So yes. So if you haven't, you can feel free to email me or contact me on social media at Kern Crockett Cherry or Kern Cherry. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my favorite sites. Facebook, of course, is one of my favorites, and Instagram. And then also I'm on YouTube as well. So you can contact me. I can give you more information on the Power Up Summit. and of course, success when it rolls out. And of course, I still hadn't even mentioned my book, Trailblazers Who Lead. We'll have 30 authors featured there. I have a major announcement coming on who the forward person will be, and that will be announced this week. And people who are not a part are going to miss out because she's dynamic and she's big. So I'm thrilled to have, but I can't say it right now. Got to announce it later. Can't give all my stuff. Yes. But anyway, that has been.
Yes.
Yes.
It has been a pleasure talking with you. I mean, a real pleasure. I'm not just saying that. I want to make sure that I keep your contact information because you know people. Yes.
I try. It's what I do. Yeah, you need to come to our conference. Come to Power Up. Come to Power Up, and I would definitely tell you you're gonna want to be at Success this year too. I'm just gonna tell you Success is a great conference. It's our 6th year running, and we have some big keynotes that are coming. But I can't tell you right now, but it's gonna be big. And my Power Up Summit is to invest in y'all. I want to pour back into you. So I wanted to just share that as well.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you coming on Let's Talk About It with Rhonda today, and sharing your story and your successes and your family successes with us. You have been a blessing as a guest today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rhonda, for having me.
All right, everyone. This has been Kern Cherry on Let's Talk About It with Rhonda. You can listen to it, the replay on Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or Facebook, because I will post it on Facebook. Thank you all for listening. Again, this is Rhonda McAllister, your host of Let's Talk About It with Rhonda, and I will see you at the top. Good night.
Good night.
Supply. He made